relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
Good morning, 10 o'clock. We have 66 degrees. It's going to be partly cloudy today with highs around 71 lakeside, 78 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. The government is now partially shut down, funding cut off after Congress failed to approve a new spending bill yesterday. Both Democrats and Republicans had their own bills that failed to get passed on the Senate floor. They're now playing the blame game. Here's House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries on ABC's Good Morning America.
In the next few days, more than 20 million Americans are going to experience notices that will indicate that their premiums and copays and deductibles are about to skyrocket, bankrupting many Americans or preventing them from being able to get access to the health care that they need.
Tens of thousands of federal workers on furlough. Starting today, federal employees whose jobs do not protect life or property will be told not to come to work. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and the U.S. Postal Service will continue operating. The Louisiana National Guard awaiting orders from Washington after Governor Jeff Landry requested a deployment to, quote, reduce the amount of violence on our streets. ABC's Jim Ryan says city leaders in the state's biggest community, New Orleans, reacting with confusion and concern.
The first that New Orleans Chief Deputy Police Superintendent Hans Gonthier heard about the possible National Guard deployment was on TV.
Do I have official notice? No, I don't have a letter, email, phone call. I don't have anything.
Commanders of the Louisiana National Guard say they will coordinate with local law enforcement before they arrive.
Comments from President Trump about sending troops into U.S. cities being defended by House Speaker Mike Johnson. During a meeting with high-ranking military leaders, Trump said the nation's fighting a war from within as troops have been deployed to combat violence and crime in American cities. Johnson said those comments were cherry-picked out of a long speech. A driving force behind the expansion of Native American gaming has died.
Family members tell the Associated Press Ernie Big Cat Stevens Jr. passed away last week at the Oneida Nation Reservation in Wisconsin. For over 2 decades, Stevens served as chair of the Indian Gaming Association, which works to protect Native American tribes and promote tribal gaming. According to the association, tribal gaming revenues grew during Stevens' tenure from $11 billion 25 years ago to nearly $44 billion last year. Stevens was 66 years old. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Decision: Wisconsin appeals court judge Maria Lazar becomes the first conservative to get into the race for an open seat on the state's Supreme Court. Liberal appeals court judge Chris Taylor, a former Democratic state lawmaker, is also running. The race is open after incumbent Supreme Court Justice Rebecca Bradley announced over the summer she would not seek another 10-year term. Conservative candidates for the court have lost each of the past 2 elections by double-digit margins. The Wisconsin Supreme Court currently controlled 4-3 by liberals. Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley proposes a $1.4 billion budget for 2026. During his proposed 2026 budget address Tuesday afternoon, Crowley said the county expects to generate more than $100 million next year in sales tax revenue.
Milwaukee County is expected to generate a total of approximately $192 million in sales tax revenue in 2026. Addressing pension obligation bonds reduced a significant financial drain and slowed the pace in which the county was losing money.
As the efforts placed in the state biennial budget will reduce the amount of taxes county residents will pay for essential county services. Milwaukee residents have opportunities to give feedback on the proposed city budget.
The majority of the money in the budget is taxpayers' dollars, so it's their money. So they definitely should have some say-so in helping to direct us on how to spend it. We represent them.
Alderwoman Malala Coggs hosted a routine town hall, but this one was focused on the budget. She tells WTMJ,
it is good to be reminded of what the opinion of those folks are.
Residents will have 2 more opportunities to weigh in on the proposed 2026 budget. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed picture on Wall Street, not much movement. Dow is up at 12 points. The S&P 500 down about a point. The Nasdaq is up 7. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 10:04.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but despite what a certain national online company tells you, a car is not one of them.
Let's see. Cheese doodles, Mr. Nougat bar. Oh, here we go. Green 4-door hatchback. We're getting gonna need some more quarters.
Sure, they make it seem convenient, but it won't be so convenient if you have a problem with the vehicle you buy. And if it's after 7 days, good luck. Adam member dealers also let you search online, and unlike those national companies, you get to see the vehicle in person and test drive it before you buy it. You also have the assurance that the vehicle's been thoroughly tested, and if any issue does come up, your local Adam member dealer is right here to service it and can also provide low financing and top dollar for your trade. Think about that before you take the chance with their so-called vending machine.
What? It's stuck. No! Oh, rats.
Start your search at adamm.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with a new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geis's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geisdoors.com. Geis has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geis at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geis. Visit them online at geisdoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers waiting to see who they'll play in the NLDS. Milwaukee will face either the San Diego Padres or Chicago Cubs, who will play Game 2 of their best-of-3 wildcard series today. Cubs won yesterday's game 3-1. Game 1 of the NLDS will be played Saturday. Packers made a roster move during their off week. Green Bay released offensive lineman Brant Banks Tuesday. Banks appeared in 2 games this season after he was signed by the team as an undrafted free agent in May. Packers have a bye week, then return to the field October 12th against the Bengals at home. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I-43 north at the ramp from Beecher. Left lane there was blocked due to a crash. It looks like that has been cleared off. Disabled vehicle on the exit to Appleton Avenue from I-41 north. And a little bit of slowing 41 south, Highway Q to the zoo. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy today with highs 71 up to 78. Inland, partly cloudy overnight with overnight lows in the mid to upper 50s. Mostly sunny tomorrow, highs 75 to 82. Friday and Saturday, sunshine, highs 83 lakeside up to 88 inland. Sunday, mostly sunny with just a slight chance of an afternoon or evening shower. Highs 80 to 84. 66 in Madison, 64 in Green Bay, 66 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Guess what today is? I jumped my gun there.
It's hump day.
It's also shutdown day.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what's probably more important than hump day, even though I'm a big fan of hump day, and I encourage all of you to celebrate in your own unique way. The shutdown, for the 15th time since 1981, Kristin, 15 times, government not doing their jobs. And I know you're expecting me to blow up the president. I'll probably do some of that. I hate them all, because your one damn job is to just get the budget done, and you keep kicking the can down the road, to use Joe Zepecki's term, and you don't get the work done. And now, selfishly, I see on the banner that there may be airport delays when I'm flying out of country on Friday nights. Not happy about that. But about 2 weeks ago, I said to myself, this is not, they're going to go to a shutdown because this is the war of wars, right? This is the president versus Democrats, name calling, not wanting. There were never, I don't think there ever was a chance this was not going to happen this time. I thought there was zero chance.
Well, I think the only chance that it was gonna happen is if Chuck Schumer caved again.
Yeah.
Like he did in the spring. And the reason he did in the spring was this is the gamble that Democrats are playing as far as what now with the power in this administration during a shutdown, do they try to fire all these people in different agencies like they said that they were going to, as far as just the power that gets handed over to the administration, that was the whole reason Chuck Schumer backed down earlier this year was, listen, because he thought the rock in a hard place, that it would be better to keep funding the government than handing over this much power to this administration. And this time, obviously, they have changed their minds, and now we will see what happens.
Yeah. And the fact that I was watching, sampling some of the networks last night, and both sides are just blaming each other, which is not surprising. If you have a trip planned to a national park, what are you going to do with that? You can fly there, but the park's probably not going to be open. The Office of Management and Budget, they will decide what stays open and what stays closed. I think this is an opportunity for a president to sort of clean house on things that he was waiting to sort of clean house on anyway, whether that was part of the DOJ efforts that's never really
Which legally I think
fire.
he still can't actually do. Like, he doesn't care about
that.
That's the thing. It's like he'll probably do it no matter what because that's what the theme has been this whole year. But as far as in normal times, just because it's a shutdown doesn't necessarily mean that he has the right to fire all these people, which may or may not stop him from doing it.
Yeah, he doesn't care about that. It really, and I think you've pointed this out on many occasions, it's about health care. It's about the cost of health care and what the BBB, the big budget bill, does to some people. Now, I tell people all the time, and I've said it on the show, if you think the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, is just for Democrats or people that are on the other side of the aisle, if you're a Republican, you're crazy. I know tons of Republicans who use those benefits. They are also going to be impacted by whatever cuts are in the big, beautiful bill or what comes next if they ever work out some sort of a compromise. But you're telling America, you're telling American voters, American citizens, that even though their budgets are getting ever tighter, their inflationary costs are rising rapidly, there may be product shortages because of tariffs, because just the supply is not going to be there, which will increase prices even more. Gas may go higher at some point. You're telling them that they should pay 2 to 3 times more for their health care? That's not going to fly. And this is where the president is vulnerable.
If they're because what their messaging is that Democrats are trying to get this expanded to pay for health care for illegal immigrants.
I hear that argument all the time.
Which is not true.
We don't
because
pay for that.
First of all, Medicaid, Medicaid does not go to people who are undocumented. There are certain states that have found loopholes that they extend it. Wisconsin is not one of them.
Right.
If you are not a U.S. citizen, but you are here illegally, you can get access to health care.
Right.
But that is different than what they're talking about. And so they're spinning this. Well, the Republicans are spinning this as far as saying they're misrepresenting what Democrats are asking for.
Yeah. And that's really politics 101 in today's world. We misrepresent. We have a president who lies constantly and speaks myth truths about what Democrats think, even what his fellow Republicans think sometimes. And this dishonesty, this lack of work product by our Congress has led to the shutdown. I have no illusion that this thing's going to be figured out, sorted out quickly.
Do you think it's going to be, what's your over-under? I guess that's not over.
I'm going to say
right
at
term.
least a month.
You think it's more or less than 35 days? Because that's the longest one to date, which was back in 2018.
That was 31 days. Yeah. So I think 35 days. This one I think is going to end right before Thanksgiving, when they all go home.
So almost 2 months.
Yeah,
you think?
Yeah. And that's going to be painful. I think people don't realize. And here's the other thing. I could be wrong on this, but I don't think so. Members of the military, they're not paid.
They'll get back pay, but yeah.
They get back pay eventually, but if you're a family who's, struggling now, military family, and God bless them, their spouses, their partners, they're out doing the hard heavy lifting, and you don't get a check on the 15th, they get paid on the 1st and the 15th. How's that going to work? Because your presidents and Congress, both sides, don't want to come to some sort of agreement that can make that happen. Now, the president probably can carve out something for veterans and military. I would suggest he do that. But if you're talking about the impact right now, and it is what already a very sort of sketchy economy when it comes to inflation risk, recession risk, concerned by individual
just
families.
Cost of everything right now.
There's a lot of uncertainty. I know my friend Dave Spano doesn't like when I use that term, but that's sort of what's out there. And if you have this piled on where important services are cuts, people aren't getting paid, federal workers, many of them will be furloughed or fired at some point, separated, and they are not going to be getting checks. They will be on the unemployment lines, right? Those aren't good developments. And again, it speaks to the fundamental problem that I have with Congress for many, many years. They don't do their jobs. And when your job is to come up with a budget, craft a budget with both sides being involved, because you do need those votes, This is your obligation. And again, you failed for how many times is it now?
15.
15 times. Since 81. Now, maybe some people don't think it's a big number. That's a big number when that's your only really job.
But I feel like what's the distribution on that? How much has it happened since, let's say, 2008?
I have to look
My
that
guess
up.
is that most of them have been post-Obama than pre-Obama.
Well, the last two, I believe,
That's my
were
guess.
in the first Trump administration because Joe Biden didn't have a shutdown, correct? I think both of them, including the longest one, was in the first Trump administration.
Yeah.
So here we are again.
And there was one in 2011 with Obama.
Yeah, maybe.
I think I was living in.
I'm talking
either,
about Joe Biden, though. In that time.
No, I know,
between-
but I'm just saying. I'm basically putting the arbitrary lineup of like my adult life.
Right.
And since I've been paying attention to politics.
Yeah.
So that because you are more of an expert as far as things that happened pre-Obama.
Yeah, but I mean, if you point to two things that you should be concerned about, this president, first term, this term, now has shutdowns on his record. This president talked so much about cutting spending. He exploded the deficit in his first term, and he seems like he's on his way to doing that again. How is that fiscal responsibility to my Republican conservative friends? What do you think about that? 855-616-1620. We are getting fired up on a Wednesday. It's hump day. After the break, at the bottom, a Republican candidate for governor, my friend Josh Schoen's going to
Coming
join
back
us.
on.
Yes.
First candidate that is making his second appearance.
Yeah, and he's it's a slim two-man race on the Republican side as of right now.
As of right now.
And we'll ask him if he thinks someone else is going to get in. All that's coming up. Point taken, 620 WTMJ.
What's on Tap with Sandy Max, keeping you updated on culture and creativity.
The Wisconsin Film Office. We could say it out loud. It's going to happen. Academy Award winner John Ridley.
So I'm glad that Wisconsin is getting in the game. I hope they stay in the game. Wisconsin is great because it has so many different looks. It has so many different places. It has places that are untouched. It has places that are incredibly modern.
What's on Tap with Sandy Max, weeknights at 6 on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Milwaukee Weight Loss. Yes, I can't believe it myself. Almost 50 pounds, yes, since January. I'm now back in the reduction phase briefly before I go on my trip this Friday, but Milwaukee Weight Loss has helped me feel better, stronger, and more confident than I have in years. If you're frustrated like I was with some of the trendy stuff, the shots, the meals, bar shakes, the gimmicky things, there's a better way, trust me. Milwaukee Weight Loss helped me lose the weight without all that stuff. None of that, just real results that last, and they've lasted now for almost 10 months. Resetting my metabolism, that's the way the magic works. Weight comes off, stays off. Willpower, yes. Great coaching, yes. Doctor-developed natural program, yes. Helping thousands of people just like me and potentially you lose up to 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 8 weeks. Then you keep it off. That's the cool part. 20, 30 pounds, achievable. Ready to stop the yo-yo diets and all those things? Take control of your life. There's a smarter, faster, safer way, and that is Milwaukee Weight Loss. Do not wait. Call them today. Get an appointment. 262-393-2334. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
I'm here to help. This is your WTMJ Fix-It Show host, David Nason, with expert advice for our listeners. If you're dealing with leaks, stains, or cracks in your basement, it's time to call my trusted friends at Accurate Basement Repair. And you know what? You'll get a free expert evaluation on me. You just tell them David Nason, the Fix-It guy, told me to call. Don't let basement issues mess up your home. Trust Accurate Basement Repair to get the job done right. And again, that's Accurate Basement Repair, 414-744-6900 or AccurateBasementRepair.com.
Talking shutdown, government shutdown, something that I was pretty sure was going to happen, and now here we are as of 12:01 this morning.
But I guess as long as we're playing the blame game and everything is being optics, I mean, it'll be interesting to talk with the guys about this on Friday with Bill and Joe, but I guess, and granted, this is hearing different arguments that I see more often from my side of the aisle, being that what obligation do Senate Democrats have to vote for something they think is harmful?
I'm not advising Democrats, but I would suggest Democrats, they have a hand to play here. I know it's tough. These things are going to be bad. I'm just looking at an article that you share with me, 18,000 civilian federal
That's
workers.
just in Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That's 18,000 people. Your friends, family, neighbors will be impacted by this. That's never, ever a good thing. But I think
it's also going to slow down courts because there's some reserve funds there. But if that runs out, then courts will shut down. Immigration cases are going to get slowed down.
It only gets worse the longer it goes.
Exactly.
Because here's what happens. You create a backlog. right? All those cases, then they have to be stacked on all the new cases. So all of that work product has to be then put on top of the new work product. Services like food assistance, Social Security, post office, air traffic control, all can be impacted. And I don't feel good about getting on a plane when I have to worry about this stuff. Trust me. And I know those are critical services and should not be impacted, but one does think about that as you step on a plane on a trip that's going to take you across the ocean, right? I think about it. Lots of great texts. Somebody made this point, and I think this is sort of interesting. It's a little bit away from the shutdown piece, but is Speaker Mike Johnson supporting a shutdown? And he basically did that yesterday. Although I will say, as far as weasels in government go, Mike Johnson is the person to watch. He passes himself off as this mega Christian and a man of faith. He lies constantly. And I'll remind Speaker Mike Johnson, he's not listening. He probably doesn't listen to radio or anybody else.
He probably listens. He doesn't listen to us, but I think he probably listens to Fox.
Yeah, probably. Political lying is lying. There's no get out of jail free card when it comes to lying. So think about that for the first part. And all of you who engage in political lying, including people who do it on the radio like we do, that is still lying. So if you're a person of faith, you might want to reconcile that with your higher power. But when you think about Democrats and how they should approach this, I'm not a Democrat, but I would say to them, I think you have something here, because the American public is going to get agitated really quick. They're already on edge. We talked about it. This is a moment where you can draw a line in the sand and say, you need our help because you can't pass it without us. Somebody. Now, I'm not a fan of Chuck Schumer. I think he's worthless. Absolutely worthless. He should have retired a long time ago. But on this one, I think they have a hand to play here. And the problem is, though, the president is going to utilize everything in his toolbox to go crazy.
Well, and already there's federal workers who log into their computer. I don't know if you saw this.
Oh, yeah.
But there is a message that pops up, when you go to a government website, that says it's in big red box, white letters, the radical left are going to shut down the government and inflict massive pain on the American people unless they get their $1.5 trillion wish list of demands. The Trump administration wants to keep the government open for the American people. But do they?
No, not right now. They don't.
Because I think, coming back to Russell Vought and the OMB and what power that they and control that they have during the shutdown, does this open the door for them to be able to expand items in Project 2025 as far as basically getting rid of the administrative state, right? So it's is this an outcome or is this part of the strategy?
It's part of the strategy. It's a further erosion of all the other branches, giving it all in a unitary leader of the country, and that's the president.
And so I feel like there's, to a certain extent, that Democrats attempt to soften the blow of what this Republican administration and the Republicans in the Congress want to have happen in the attempt to try to make healthcare, not have people lose their healthcare, not have healthcare premiums be as much. But so much of the stuff that they were trying to say is going to cause pain to American people with the BBB. And at this point, it's people voted for this, so let them have it.
Yeah. Oh, I was text to remind him I didn't get to my point about Mike Johnson. I was just cutting him down. There's a theory that he knows that the newest Congresswoman from Arizona, when she's sworn in, when they get back in a session, he pretty much has to swear her in. That gives one more vote for the release of the Epstein files, which is all they need to actually have that happen in a real vote. And there's a lot of people that think that Mike Johnson is encouraging this shutdown so he can sort of game play.
But how would that work? Because it's the Senate's and the Democrats in the Senate that are the ones who they need. So what power does he have over them?
Well, obviously the leaders from both houses talk, right? And
so you're saying he's telling
Oh, absolutely.
John Thune, don't give them what they want.
Absolutely.
So we can shut down. Got it.
And that coordination's done through the White House, right? They all know how this game's played. There's something in these Epstein files that this administration does not want the public to see. And whether it's all the crazy stuff they did yesterday, which we'll get to at some point, the dog and pony show at the Pentagon with the president and Pete Hegseth embarrassing themselves as leaders in front of men and women who do real work every day and put their lives on the line. I wish there was a Jack Nicholson quote we could play, because, that's what I thought of. I thought, this is what we're getting. We're getting two weak men speaking to really strong-willed men and women who lead us and our safety and security in the world, and you're lecturing them about how fat they are. And I said this to you before the show. 95% of those people could kick their you-know-whats in a fight. I don't care how fat they are, because they're real leaders, and they're real members of the military. So,
are there that many fat people, like troops?
I don't know.
Where is he getting this from?
It's all nonsense. It's performative politics played out to the extreme. And I would guess that of all the men and women in that audience, which hundreds and hundreds of generals.
It was mostly men.
High rank, yeah.
I looked at that picture. It was a lot of men.
I would guess that if you took all of those people and calculated the time they spent on their hair and makeup, of the hundreds, it would be less than the president and the fake Department of War secretary spent on theirs. Because Hegseth was off the charts crazy, my opinion. Thanks for all the good texts, and I'm glad you're fired up like me, because I think this is an important issue. All right, Kristin, Steve, point taken, WTMJ.
You can't handle the truth.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments. Behind the Bucks is Bucks history, like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Loyalty, family, few things are more important than that. This is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi and Loyal Family Renovations. Remember that name. They saved the day after a storm in Oak Creek last year. Lots of damage, hail damage, and everything that goes with that. I had it bad. My entire house had issues, but Jeff, Jake, and their team, absolute pros, the best, made that entire process as smooth as possible. They worked with my insurance company. We actually sat on my patio in the back and worked with my adjuster on the phone. Kathy and I, Jeff and Jake, my insurance adjuster, and they walked through all the questions we had, that Jeff and Jake did it from Loyal, and we got it done. Quick answers, top-notch customer service, and in 2 days after that, brand new roof. Looks amazing. Just looked at it yesterday. They even had a tool to pick up every last nail that fell off the roof. I was so impressed. I told my whole neighborhood about it, and I'm telling you about it as well. If a storm hits you, damages your house, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com.
The Wisconsin retirement system impacts over 690,000 people, including police, firefighters, teachers, and UW employees. Join Annex Wealth Management and WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for a free webinar. Understand your WRS potential on Tuesday, October 21st at 3:30 p.m. Learn how your WRS pension fits into your financial portfolio and planning. The Annex Financial Planning team is experienced with WRS pensions and holistic financial planning. Register at annexwealth.com/events. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management.
What makes working at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Diane.
I just love what I do because I get to bring joy and happiness to the residents. I develop and plan all the programs, activities, and outings. We go downtown to Milwaukee for different theater productions, museum tours. Our activities can span from Lake Geneva up to as far as Green Bay, and then we love going to the Dells. We also have a lot of speakers coming all the time, and then we always have parties.
Find a rewarding career at threepillars.org.
In my opinion, I hear the Democrats are going to be blamed and the Republicans are going to be blamed. I actually think the president would be blamed. If there is a shutdown, and it's not going to be a horrible shutdown because, as you know, things will sort of keep
Well, there's a partial shutdown, right?
If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the president of the United States. He's the one that has to get people together.
Oh, words always come back to...
When was that?
It's a while ago. I think it was during the Biden administration, but it's sort of interesting because I can find any topic and find something that Donald Trump said the exact opposite of what he's saying now. It's that easy. And that's a real Donald Trump. That's not AI. That's him saying that. The fault of a shutdown is the president, paraphrasing. I can't make it. Texture says, are there any Republicans that you like? Yeah, I like some. I like one that's coming up after the break.
You're like our guest today.
Yeah, Josh Shulman. I like Ron Johnson when he focuses on the deficit and not all the conspiracy theory nonsense. So
you like Tom Tiffany.
I love Tom Tiffany. He answers the questions. I don't agree with him on everything, but he answers the questions.
You like Brian Style?
I love Brian Style, my congressman. He does the work.
Fast and loose with that L word.
I feel generous. Well, probably because I've gone on vacation, Yeah. I like people that do good jobs. I shouldn't say love. I love my wife.
And your daughters.
And my daughters. And my grandkids. And my kids. Yeah. Okay, so what's your point? And somebody said we're rambling. No, we're not. I'm telling you what I think. It's an opinion show. It's not a news show. We're news talk. And I'm telling you, and Kristen's telling you what we think about what's happening. This idea that we're somehow going to go through all of these details, which is what some people do on the radio to try to prove their point. We'll do some of that, but that's boring as you know what. We're not going to do that. I'm going to tell you what I think. Don't you want me to do that?
Isn't that why we're here?
Yeah. Are you not entertained?
You not entertained?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, the shutdown's not going anywhere. So
yeah, I
guess you'll be gone for most of it. So
just don't F up my vacation.
I will not. Well, hopefully. And so we will continue to monitor this. I'm trying to work on getting someone in to talk about healthcare premiums in general, even if you're not in the ACA. But for now, we got to go to local news. But before that,
here we go.
Are you not entertained?
Oh.
Are you not entertained? Is this not
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Supreme Court is allowing Lisa Cook to remain as a Federal Reserve governor for now, declining to act on the Trump administration's efforts to remove her from the central bank. The Supreme Court says it will hear arguments on her removal in January. President Trump continuing to threaten to fire workers furloughed during the government shutdown.
The question is this just a threat at this point to try to put pressure on Democrats, or will they actually follow through on this? And we have seen this administration, of course, cut agencies, cut departments, and cut federal workers by significant numbers as part of that DOGE effort. President Trump said yesterday that during a shutdown, he would lay off federal workers, he would cut programs, and he would also potentially cut benefits. But they haven't given details of what that would look like, who they would be targeting, and what programs would be targeted.
ABC's Karen Travers at the White House. Vice President Vance says Republicans want to resolve the health care issues Democrats are demanding, but not until the government reopens. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:31. I'm Connie Weber. A crash on Milwaukee's South Side killed the driver of a moped. It happened last night around 9:30 near 27th Street in Parnell. Moped hit by a car. Driver of the car was arrested. Police say impairment does not appear to be a factor, but charges are pending review by the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office. A village clerk accused of theft and embezzlement in Eustisford. Kim Hoppinger was arrested Monday after a detailed audit of the village's finances found significant discrepancies. She's also accused of embezzling funds during her time as the treasurer for the Eustisford Soccer Club. Hoppinger is currently in the Dodge County Jail facing misconduct in public office and theft charges. Wauwatosa and West Allis moving forward with plans to consolidate their fire departments. The Wauwatosa Common Council approved the consolidation on a 13-1 vote last night and also approved for city staff to apply for an innovation grant once both fire departments do combine. City officials say the consolidation would save both cities money and not reduce workforce. The Wauwatosa City Administrator now has 30 to 90 days to put together a report on what a joint fire force would look like. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow is up 87 points, 46,485. S&P 500 up 3 at 6,692. The Nasdaq up just a fraction, 22,660. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. I-794 West, about a mile and a quarter beyond the ramp from Car Ferry Road. There could be some lane closures there due to debris. No other major snags on the freeway system this hour. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy today with highs 71 up to 78. Inland, partly cloudy overnight with highs in the mid to upper 50s. Mostly sunny tomorrow, highs 75 to 82. Friday and Saturday, we have sunshine most of the day with highs in the lower to upper 80s. Sunday, mostly sunny, slight chance of an afternoon and evening shower. High 80, Lakeside 84 inland. 67 in Madison, 68 in Green Bay and in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:33.
Goldsmiths are essential to running a jewelry store, but they're extremely hard to find.
Goldsmiths can repair jewelry, set diamonds, resize rings, and create beautiful, one-of-a-kind pieces of custom jewelry.
Most jewelry stores do not have an in-house goldsmith.
But Kessler's has 18 wonderful goldsmiths working in our 9 Kessler stores.
The average Kessler's goldsmith has more than 15 years of full-time experience.
And that's not counting all the apprentice goldsmiths and jewelry designers.
Our goldsmiths repair a lot of jewelry that we did not sell.
Bring us your broken jewelry and we'll bring it back to life.
When you see a woman with an extremely attractive, very distinctive engagement ring,
you can safely assume that it's a custom-designed, one-of-a-kind ring made by the goldsmiths at Kessler's.
When your relationship is special, you need a special engagement ring.
If you want something that's breathtakingly one of a kind,
come to Kessler's.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats.
Now through Wednesday, save on 6.25 to 15.75 ounce selected varieties Frito-Lay Doritos, Sun Chips, Ruffles, or Tostitos dip, 2 for $7. 24 pack selected varieties Pure Life Water, $3.99. 14 ounce or 3 count selected varieties Haagen-Dazs ice cream or bars, $3.99. 4.5 to 5.3 ounce selected varieties Chobani Flip Greek yogurt, 2 for $3.
I am starving.
Oh no, never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh, pizza, yes. I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
Need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against Chicago on December 7th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
Enter by November 12th.
All right. We've had candidates for governor on the show for the last few weeks. Our next guest has been a candidate longer than anybody, I believe, right? He's the first in the race on the Republican side. My friend Josh Shulman, Washington County Executive, joins Point Taken, Stephen Kristin. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice
Good morning,
to be back
Josh.
with you.
Josh, is there something
Good
about me
morning.
why you won't come in into the studio and actually come on the show in person?
I would love to come into the studio. It's so much fun.
He's been coming in for like 3
Wasn't
years.
it me? He came in all the time when it was just the Steve show.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's doing his regular job and he's campaigning. So I'm
How
sure
is
that's
that going? How
Oh,
hard
it's
is
a
it to
juggling act.
campaign
It's
a
a juggling.
72 county campaign while also having another job to do?
It is extremely challenging, but it is totally worth it for the people of this state, and I'm really enjoying all of it.
So I haven't had a chance to ask you. I don't think I've had a chance to ask you since you sort of decided. We've had some conversations away from the show, but and I saw you at State Fair, which was cool. Your decision to get into this race, it's a 2-man race right now on the Republican side with Congressman Tom Tiffany jumping in last week. What went into your decision?
Well, it really boiled down to one thing and one thing only, and that's you. And I mean you, the people of Wisconsin, your future, your kids, your families, and mine. My whole life, I've been watching as people graduate high school, graduate college, they leave our state for other opportunities, and too many times they don't come back. And now I'm watching the same thing happen with retirees, having them tell me that their accountants are telling them, go down south to Florida and Texas and Tennessee and Arizona for the sunshine and then stay for the low taxes. We've got to turn things around in Wisconsin, and I think a big part of the reason why I jumped in this race is to do exactly that.
So you think our policies in the state of Wisconsin are driving away seniors to go to these other places? And I have a lot of friends who have done this. Tennessee is one of the most popular places to go to now, and Florida, obviously, and Arizona, those types of states. You think our policies in the state of Wisconsin are driving this?
There's no doubt about it. I mean, so I've visited all 72 counties. It took me 127 days, and I did things a little differently than most politicians do. Most of the time you see politicians do some polling ahead of time, try to figure out where they're at and what people care about. I went to people directly. I met them at dairy breakfasts, at backyard barbecues, at local events, and talked to them. And I specifically asked, what are your hopes and dreams for the future of the state? And over and over and over again, I heard stories about people in their 50s and their early 60s who have a place down in one of these southern states, and their CPA literally said, it's time for you to pack up and move for 6 months and 1 day so that you don't have to pay taxes in Wisconsin. You go enjoy whatever if you don't want to stay in Florida because it gets too hot, then tour the entire United States or go around the world and take the savings from your income tax, and it will pay for it. And they're doing it. It's bad news bears, and I've heard it directly from hundreds of people across the state.
Is that I have no idea what the answer to this question is, but I just would imagine being able to afford 2 homes. What percentage of the population of that age does that actually represent?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. I knew a number of people prior to the race that were in this boat, but what really started to tip the scale was when I started to talk to teachers and blue-collar folks, and they're like my mom and dad. They have a place down on the Gulf Coast of Florida. It's a mobile home trailer park. It's not super fancy or expensive, And even they are getting CPAs telling them you need to move down south. Save your nest egg as long as you possibly can. It's really amazing and something that's really unfortunate for Wisconsin. I've noticed a long time ago that Illinois has got income tax that is almost half of what our top bracket is. I mean, that's Illinois. They're running their state into the ground, and that is not something we should be proud of. I think we've got to turn that trend, and it's going to be hugely impactful for all kinds of people, middle class and above.
So your main goal then is lowering taxes?
I wouldn't say it's my main goal. My main goal is to make Wisconsin the place to be. And what I mean by that is it's really expensive. Let's go to the other end of the age spectrum. You're graduating high school and college, trying to afford a home in this state right now. I mean, that median price of a home in Wisconsin is almost $350,000. That's completely unachievable if you've got, for example, a starting police officer and a starting teacher. They can't afford home. In Washington County, the median price is almost $400,000. So I think that's exactly the kind of thing that we've got to reverse the trend. We've been working on that in Washington County for the last 5 years. We're making outstanding progress. We can take that exact same kind of success all across Wisconsin.
Josh, you're known as a leader, a local leader who gets things done, and I certainly know this from the experience of having known you for a few years and in your leadership in Washington County. So the government is now in shutdown. And I know that some people don't know what that means yet, but it does have impact here in Wisconsin. So if you were advising the president from the impact that's going to be felt here in Wisconsin, what would you be saying to the president right now?
Well, this is one of the things that has been very frustrating. I got into public service after my tour in Iraq in 2003 because I wanted to dedicate the rest of my life to the service and sacrifice of the guys and gals who didn't make it back, and to reflect my Lord's love by loving my neighbor as myself. And I thought public service was the best way to do it. When I watched this kind of, political partisan tit for tat in D.C. or in Madison, the state budget wasn't a heck of a lot better. Here you've got, Governor Evers comes out and announces in the last minute that they're going to have this budget deal. And Greta Neubauer, the minority leader from the Democrat Party in the Assembly, basically comes out right after that and says, I wasn't even at the table. There's no way I'm voting for this thing. I think in America and in Wisconsin, we have spent way too much time throwing political bombs. Social media amplifies it all, but just talking past each other instead of talking to each other. I want this campaign to be about people of Wisconsin, about our local communities and what matters most to them. And it cannot become about the federal government or about Madison. It's got to be about the people.
Candidate for governor on the Republican side in the state of Wisconsin, Josh Schoeman, Washington County Executive. We'll take a quick break. Lots more to come with Josh and Kristin and Steve on Point Take on 620 WTMJ.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Advent. Snoring, tossing, and turning, restless nights of sleep. Probably waking up a lot more than you realize, me certainly. All that poor sleep can lead to lack of efficiency at work, and for me, tired mornings on the radio. To put it simply, I had a problem with my nose and it wasn't working properly. I went to Advent, 30-minute visit, walked in one of their great facilities. They put me at ease. They answered my questions. They added in a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They determined my problem, sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. After a short procedure, I'm back to breathing better than ever. 5 years later, still sleeping through the whole night, not snoring. If that's your thing, do something about it. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com and schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Ooh, ma. What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Do you have a spot that's too cold in the winter, but if you jack up the heat, the rest of the house is too warm? Vince Vitrano for USA Insulation. Time to get Jeff and his team out to your house. Proper insulation from USA forms a thermal barrier that maintains warmth in the winter and coolness in the summer. Time to get in on thousands of dollars of government efficiency credits. Jeff and his team at USA Insulation find the grants, rebates, reductions, and they discount the cost of your project up front. Get started at usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
If you're on the hunt for deals, now's the time to save at Fleet Farm. Wild game favorites like a 12-pound Trophy Rock Mineral Lick is just $9.99. Wildlife Research Scent Killer Spray Combo is just $9.99 after $5 rebate. And save 20% on all Huntworth hunting apparel and accessories now through October 8th. Check out all our hunting gear and accessories, all at the best prices guaranteed at your local Fleet Farm. And see the rest of our weekly deals at fleetfarm.com.
Take your family to the Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford or Oshkosh today for the Wednesday all-you-can-eat fish fry and just $7.99. Kids 5 and under eat free from the kids menu. Just walk in for your $7.99 fish fry. It's big food. It's big fun. It's the Mind Chef restaurant.
Continue the conversation with Washington County Executive Josh Schoeman, who's been a frequent guest on my old program and now on our new program. Steve,
but not in person on the new program.
He'll be there eventually. I'm sure he's sticking around. Josh, this is a question from Republicans. So there are some Republicans like me who don't support President Donald Trump. Don't mean I hate the man. I just don't like some of the actions and the words that he uses. So you have to compete with Tom Tiffany on this issue. You're both probably be courting, I think, the support of the President of the United States in your race if you're lucky enough to be the person. But you have to sort of get Republicans who are not fans of Trump to vote for you in the primary. How do you do that?
Well, I think what you're going to find with me is I'll point continually back to my record as Washington County Executive. Any politician who gets to this level can speak slickly enough that they can talk themselves in a circle. But look at what I've done. So in 2024, in the April election, I was on that ballot, and that was a presidential primary ballot. So President Trump and all the other Republicans were there too. And I was uncontested on the ballot, but we ran a race as if I had an opponent because you never take anything for granted. So we worked really hard, and I outperformed all of the Republican presidential primary candidates combined by 5%. I mean, it means we're speaking to people where they're at, and it doesn't really matter what their politics are. But when we're focused on the people and you don't get lost in all this partisan bickering, things can change. If we can do that in Washington County and expand it to Waukesha and Ozaukee, and then go meet people where they're at in the city of Milwaukee and in Dane County, Republicans have done a horrible job in places like that of even talking to people. I think I was just in Dane County again yesterday for the 15th time in 150 days, and I'll continue to go back because we have to talk to them, too, about what their issues are and how we make this state successful for everybody. It's our state together.
All right, Josh, so we have a fair amount of text on our text line asking questions of you. And speaking of your time as a county executive for Washington County, we have two different people who asked about the sale of the UW campus and selling it to specifically a non-taxable entity. So this is from the text line. Seems bad for the county fiscally. And why did you seemingly make this decision while ignoring the concerns of the constituents who wanted more options? So can you talk a little bit more about what went into that decision?
Yeah, absolutely. So our two-year campus, of course, closed relatively abruptly when UWM decided they were going to pull out at the direction of the UW system. And it kind of left us holding the bag. We had that campus for about 60 years, and it had a heck of a great run. A lot of people not just got educations there, but created families there and built careers there. And that was wonderful. But we needed to go in a different direction. So we put two different task forces together to look at different options. In the end, it really came down to it's a 200,000 square foot building and an 80-acre piece of property. It costs a lot to maintain that. It's been dustballed almost for a year, and we wanted to see the new chapter. So we had, I think, 7 or 8 different proposals, but really only 2 that made any fiscal sense. I thought we have this school, Ozaki Christian School, is interested and has made an offer to purchase it. And that one, they are in our community. They've grown in our community. They're a great option for many families, not all, but many. And I'm excited to have them grow right here in West Bend and Washington County. And I'll talk to them about changing that name of Ozaki Christian School. But otherwise, we're very excited to have them growing here in West Bend.
When you look at your work in Washington County, and how long have you been county executive?
Coming up on 6 years.
6 years, and I mentioned earlier that you're sort of known, and I talk to a lot of local leaders across the state, and certainly League of Wisconsin Municipalities is something you've been involved with as well. And you're known for being someone that identifies that sort of cross-party talk is important. And you've talked about this with me before, your relationship with Milwaukee County. And I know that we had a lot of fun with the Cracker Barrel stuff at one point, but you were an advocate for Act 12 and some of the other stuff that sort of allowed the city and county of Milwaukee to sort of get back on their feet. Talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and remember, this was a bill that went way beyond Milwaukee County and way beyond Southeast Wisconsin. This was for all counties in the state and all municipalities, and it was a huge step in the right direction. Shared revenue reform like we hadn't seen in a generation, my entire life, frankly. And I was the president of the Wisconsin County Executives and Administrators, and we actually had a group working and building out what that was going to look like. Milwaukee's success means Wisconsin's success, so having the city and the county be a major part of that legislation was critically important, because the state would have ended up having to step in if that had not happened. So that's wonderful. And quite frankly, from Washington County's perspective, by those sales tax increases down in Milwaukee and City of Milwaukee and Milwaukee County, that means more people can consider coming here for a little bit of a discount. I think that's okay. So I'm certainly going to promote my county. I expect David would promote his. But the bottom line is it was a good thing overall, and it gets us a step closer to a funding formula that makes more sense, because quite frankly, the way that we fund municipalities, just like the way we fund our schools, is completely archaic, and it worked for the last 50 years, but it sure as heck isn't going to work for the next 50.
Well, that was going to be my next question, as far as, do you feel like Act 12 went far enough? Because I feel like in the aftermath of that, it helped, but it certainly is not enough. There's still so many communities across the state that are struggling to fund the services that they are required to provide. So do you feel like there's room for improvement and changing even further how we fund our cities?
Yeah, there 100% there's room for improvement. I would expand this to our schools as well. I think we as a state, we as a Wisconsin society, have ceded way too much power to Madison and to the Capitol. I think I talk a lot about focusing on the people. I think we need to push as much power back to the people as we possibly can, and that starts at the local level. We have a rich tradition in Wisconsin of local control, sometimes hyperized local control, but I think there's a balancing act here where we can expound on the innovation grant program that actually gets mergers and shared services going, at the same time as reconfiguring both the funding formula for local government as well as our schools. Because let's face it, property tax bills are skyrocketing, especially in light of the 402-year veto that Governor Evers executed, which has now been operationally executed in this most recent state budget. We're going to see massive increases to property tax. The reality is we need a funding model that actually incentivizes municipalities to chase the right things, like economic growth, and our schools to chase the right things, like outcomes for our kids. And I think we can do that, but it's going to take all of us together sitting at the table. Nobody can be excluded, and we have to have a conversation that builds a brighter future for Wisconsin.
All right, it sounds like a campaign speech at the end, but we'll let you go. We'll leave you on that. Get back to work for Washington County. Josh Schoeman, candidate for governor on Republican side. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. God bless.
All right, quick break here on 620 WTMJ.
The Wisconsin retirement system impacts over 690,000 people, including police, firefighters, teachers, and UW employees. Join Annex Wealth Management and WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi for a free webinar. Understand your WRS potential on Tuesday, October 21st at 3:30 p.m. Learn how your WRS pension fits into your financial portfolio and planning. The Annex Financial Planning team is experienced with WRS pensions and holistic financial planning. Register at annexwealth.com/events. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management.
Enjoy life at Capri Communities, where senior living's our expertise. Caring staff that help you when you need. Enjoy life at Capri, making friends and memories. Living life to the fullest, you will love your new home. Enjoy life at Capri Communities.
Enjoy a free prime rib dinner tonight at the historic Fox and Hounds, recently voted the best supper club in the area. WTMJ's John Mercure here, and with the fall colors, it's a great time to experience the Fox and Hounds near Holy Hill. It's been serving fabulous dinners for almost 90 years in their rustic timber building. Every Wednesday and Saturday, when you buy one prime rib dinner, your second is free. Also, order your favorite steak, seafood, grilled salmon, a big salad, the ribs, even steak and lobster, anything on the menu. Your second dinner is free tonight. Sip on a delicious Manhattan, enjoy an old-fashioned, check out the bourbons, or select from over 100 wines. The Fox and Hound sits in the Kettle Moraine Forest. The setting is beautiful. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the famous Holy Hill Shrine. With the fall colors, the drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest is spectacular. Those fall colors look great in the beer garden they've got, too. A Wisconsin must-see. Enjoy your free prime rib dinner tonight. Tables are available. Visit foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
We've seen a significant uptick in the number of gasping customers in this 12-foot radius at Penny Mustard.
This is where we display the Joni sofa.
Now that's a gasp-worthy sofa.
You'd never know something this strong and beautiful could be so comfortable. Was that you?
Oh no, it's contagious.
Come see the Joni sofa, American-made with Fortress hardwood frame, ultra-high-density cushions, and hundreds of fabric and leather options, starting at $19.13 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Goodyear, Dunlop, Kelly, Continental, General, you name it, we got it.
Plus, free flat tire repair, free tire rotations, and more.
So when you're due for tire service, schedule it at richlawns.com.
That's Rich Lawns with 2 N's.
Rich Lawns.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
All right, we got to get to break again for the top of the hour news with Connie Weber, Kristin, and Steve. Thanks to County Executive from Washington County, Josh Shulman, for joining us. We've got lots of conversation in the next half hour about what happened yesterday at the Pentagon, which was embarrassing, in my opinion. Love to hear what you have to say about all of that nonsense. And then we have Ask Us Anything at 10:35.
Start texting your questions, 855-616-1620.
Right. News is next.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You've heard about Tri-County Contracting and their worry-free roof tune-up. You've heard about their instant roof quote. But don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also handles windows. Our project at my home moving right along right now, and the process has been so easy and thorough. It's nice when you can trust the team you're working with and know that they are looking out for you. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and also windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but despite what a certain national online company tells you, a car is not one of them.
Let's see. Cheese Doodles, Mr. Nougat Bar. Oh, here we go. Green 4-door hatchback.
We're gonna need some more quarters.
Sure, they make it seem convenient, but it won't be so convenient if you have a problem with the vehicle you buy. And if it's after 7 days, good luck. Adam member dealers also let you search online, and unlike those national companies, you get to see the vehicle in person and test drive it before you buy it. You also have the assurance that the vehicle's been thoroughly tested, and if any issue does come up, your local Adam member dealer is right here to service it and can also provide low financing and top dollar for your trade. Think about that before you take the chance with their so-called vending machine.
What? It's stuck! No! Oh, rats.
Start your search at adamm.com.
Something exciting is happening at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. On the second floor, you'll find the Studio Kitchen and Cocktails, Milwaukee's destination for bold flavors, fresh sushi, seasonal entrees, and cocktails crafted with care. Start your day with a breakfast that fuels you, stop in for dinner that sparks conversation, or linger late into the evening with drinks designed to inspire. With flavors and drinks for every mood, the Studio is the perfect place to gather, celebrate, and connect. Be boldly social. The Studio Kitchen and Cocktails, now on the second floor at St. Kate the Arts Hotel.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and progressive.com.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
11 o'clock, we have 68 degrees. It's going to be partly cloudy today with high 71 up to 78 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Starting today, Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin temporarily stopping its abortion services because of questions about a new federal law. The group is concerned President Trump's big, beautiful bill will deprive its patients of Medicaid coverage unless abortions are stopped. Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul challenging the defunding provision in court.
This issue was being left to the states. And yet this federal bill that was passed has now caused Planned Parenthood to stop providing access to abortion for at least a period of time here in Wisconsin.
Despite the pause, abortion is still legal in the Badger State. A new Marquette Law School national poll finds fewer Americans approve of President Trump's job performance. 43% said they support the president. The survey shows growing concern over the economy, with the majority saying Trump's policies will increase inflation over the next year. Lower than 50% of adults report grocery prices have gone up a lot in the past 6 months. Just 20% say they feel better off than they were a year ago. Government shutting down has led to tens of thousands of federal workers being furloughed. Congress failed to approve a new spending bill Tuesday night, leading to a shutdown just after midnight Eastern time. Starting today, federal employees whose jobs do not protect life or property will be told not to come to work. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and the U.S. Postal Service will continue operating. Federal Reserve may have limited information as it weighs whether to cut interest rates again.
The government shutdown means no weekly unemployment numbers or monthly jobs reports. So when the Federal Reserve meets later this month, information about the labor market will have to come from other sources. One source out today from payroll processor ADP showed that U.S. companies dropped 32,000 private sector jobs last month. That's a surprise. Experts expected to see more than 40,000 jobs added. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Decision, Wisconsin. A conservative appeals court judge is running for an open seat on the state's Supreme Court.
Appeals court judge Maria Lazar becomes the first conservative to get into the race. Liberal appeals court judge Chris Taylor, a former Democratic state lawmaker, is also running. The race is open after incumbent Supreme Court Justice Rebecca Bradley announced over the summer she would not seek another 10-year term. Conservative candidates for the court have lost each of the past two elections by double-digit margins. The Wisconsin Supreme Court is currently controlled 4-3 by liberals. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Longtime leader of the Indian Gaming Association has died. Family members tell the Associated Press Ernie Stevens Jr. passed away last week at the Oneida Nation Reservation in Wisconsin. For over 2 decades, Stevens served as a chair of the Indian Gaming Association, which works to protect Native American tribes and promote tribal gaming. Stevens was 66 years old. Residents in Waukesha will not have to pay more than $100 for trash and recycling removal.
The decision is part of a resolution the Common Council passed in an effort to raise money for the city.
City Administrator Anthony Brown says the cost of the services would vary year by year.
It provides a mechanism for us to adjust the special charge to what the actual cost is for a collection.
Brown says the fee would only be imposed by people using the city collection service, not residents who hire private removal companies.
To be clear, it's everyone who is receiving the service right now. They would pay for the service moving forward.
Sean Brenda, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money. In the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update, the Dow is up 79 points, the S&P 500 up 8, the NASDAQ is up 38. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
You know when that big online store has special days with ridiculously low prices?
Yeah.
Why doesn't Hasselus Mattress do that?
We do.
You do? When?
Every day.
Okay, good one. But really, when are the big discounts?
Like I said, every day. You know our showrooms are employee-free.
So I can give your mattresses a try.
With no pushy sales guy.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that allows us to sell Sealy Posturepedic, Beauty Rest, and more for way less.
Give me numbers.
Our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393. Free next day delivery, too.
And you do this every day?
Yeah. Plus, through Monday, get a free box spring with every Sealy Posturepedic, Beauty Rest, and more, or take an equal amount off an adjustable base.
Wow.
So I guess you could say now is a prime time to buy.
I see what you did there.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hasselus.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers waiting to see who they'll play in the NLDS. Milwaukee will face either the San Diego Padres or Chicago Cubs, who will play Game 2 of their best-of-3 wildcard series today. Cubs won yesterday's game 3-1. Game 1 of the NLDS is Saturday. Packers made a roster move during their off week. Green Bay released offensive lineman Brant Banks Tuesday. Banks appeared in 2 games this season after he was signed with the team as an undrafted free agent back in May. Packers have a bye week. They return to the field October 12th against the Bengals at home. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ time saver traffic. That debris in the road, I-74 west, about 1.25 miles beyond Car Ferry Road. Looks like that has been cleared off. That roadway should be cleared. Still a couple of left lanes blocked due to an incident at Highway 100 north at Walker Street. Here's the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy today, high 71 to 78. Inland, partly cloudy overnight with overnight lows in the mid to upper 50s. Sunny tomorrow, high 75 to 82. Sunny and warm Friday and Saturday. Highs both days around 83 lakeside up to 86 to 88 inland. Sunday, mostly sunny, slight chance of an afternoon or evening shower. Highs 80 to 84. 68 in Madison, 69 in Green Bay, 68 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the 11 o'clock hour of Point Taken. It's Ask Us Anything Day along with Hump Day.
Yes.
So if you have some questions you would like Steve or I to answer, shoot us a text, 855-616-1620. We will do that after the bottom of the hour news.
I can't predict the weather, though, because somebody asked me about leaving on a trip. I have no idea. I know where I'm going to be. It's going to be nice.
All right. Well, right as we were getting on air yesterday, Pete Hegseth was wrapping up his speech, and President Trump was wrapping up his speech to 800 generals who had flown some had flown thousands of miles to get to the Pentagon for an unknown meeting.
Pep rally.
Of what no one really knew, why they were all being called there. It was expensive, potentially a security concern over how many high-ranking defense officials were in one building. But it turned out, I think the big takeaway being, if you don't like what Hegseth and Trump are saying, you can get out.
Yeah.
It's our way or quit.
Military preparedness be damned. Like, some of these people have earned their way to those positions, I'm pretty sure.
And it was really remarkable. I have a couple family members who were in the military, but definitely don't come from a military family. And so I know that there is a different, not sternness, stoicness, maybe is the word that I'm looking
Seriousness.
for. But looking into the picture of the crowd and just stone-faced, just mostly men of those generals listening, not making any kind of emotional reaction whatsoever. I haven't read any reaction from anyone as far as, it's a different group than politicians who go and immediately jump on Twitter and give their reaction and their take on what that speech was. It was just kind of like silence. But there also was not a lot of clapping.
No, and it's not their job to clap.
No, I know. But I think both Trump and Hegseth were expecting applause, and they did not get that applause.
Yeah, we'll have some audio here in a second that'll sort of play into that. But here's my quick takeaway. What happened on stage from Pete and the president was performative. What was in the audience was real life reality. We're serving our country. We're not here to be entertained. We're not here to applaud you. Some of them may even support those two men on stage, but that's not what we're here for. You commanded us to come here, even though we probably have some other more important duties to attend to, and we're going to sit here and we're going to listen, but we're not going to applaud. We're not going to clap. And I think that was a demonstration for a lot of people, and maybe this is the takeaway you should think about, that there's a responsibility to do your damn job, and they're doing it. And they're not playing the politics game, not cheerleading for something. They're just doing their job as instructed. They were told to go there, and they went there. And they sat there and listened when the people on stage thought it was more of a performance and an entertainment project. And as you'll hear in our clips, it didn't land, and it wasn't even that entertaining, in my opinion.
Well, which one would you
Let's
like
go
to
ahead,
play?
Seth, sort of a greatest hits.
It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. Today, at my direction, each service will ensure that every requirement for every combat MOS, for every designated combat arms position, returns to the highest male standard only.
Look, I said it before, and I say it again. 95% of the people in the audience would kick his you-know-what. However great in shape he thinks he is, how tough he thinks he is. This is a guy who spends more time on hair and makeup than he probably does on his real job, which is to sort of manage that department, Secretary of Defense.
War.
I'm not going to use his stupid terms. There's no legal right to that name. They just called it that. It's not called that officially. And they can keep playing these stupid games. But you're insulting the men and women who are tasked with leading our military and our military members around the world, and you want to chastise them because you think they're out of shape? What if they chastise you for wearing too much makeup? What's the difference? Has nothing to do with the job you do. Could everyone be in the military be in better shape? I'm sure. But I could take any profession in life or any man or woman on the street and say they probably could be in better shape. That's a real question. Now, maybe you could approach it. Maybe as a group, we can all be better at fitness and nutrition. That would have been a positive. He chose to label. He chose to fat shame, if you want to use that term. And that's how he leads. He's not a leader. He's a fake leader who's basically a guy who was on Fox TV. He's not qualified for the position. He's not qualified to lead. And he's dangerous, as we learned early on in his tenure, because he had chats over Signal that weren't protected involving military secrets.
There's still an investigation going on for that, right?
Yeah, good luck with that investigation when you have a DOJ run by people
Fair.
who don't care about real things.
All right, so that was Hegseth. And then there was also a speech from President Trump, which I'm still waiting for a text back from Bill about this. So the quote that stood out to me from Trump, I think we have it as far as America being invaded.
Yeah.
So let's play that quickly.
Thank you very much, Pete. Great job you're doing, too. Fantastic job. I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very... Oh, don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future. But you just feel nice and loose, okay? Because we're all on the same team. And I was told that.
So that's what he said, obviously, when he first started his speech. But the part that stood out to me that I don't think we actually have the clip for is America's is under invasion from within. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in many ways because they don't wear uniforms. At least when they're wearing a uniform, you can take them out. Who is the enemy?
I don't think he's explained that anywhere. Who is the enemy? It's us? We're the problem?
Well, and because I feel like this is the part that is concerning to me, because this comes on the heels of so much of the divisive rhetoric that happened after Charlie Kirk's murder, of going after left-leaning organizations, going after left-leaning people, but going after people who say things on social media. So it's like, who is he talking about when he's talking about an invasion from within? Is he talking about American citizens? And if so, is that not concerning when he's talking about training our military, getting training practice in our cities?
To me, it's the same thing. It's superficial threats with no substance beyond them, no explanation. What are you talking about? Who are you referring to? There's no follow-up because he's doing a presentation in a private meeting, sort of, although it was publicized. He doesn't care about that.
But I guess I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about for Republicans, like for people who are Republicans who are listening to us, people who are fans of the president who are listening to us, whether it's right now live, 855-616-1620, or on a podcast, you want to email us later. But it's like, who do you think the enemy from within is?
That's a fair question. And
are you okay with that? Do you genuinely think that people who disagree with you are an enemy? Do you genuinely think, if we're talking about immigrants, that they are your enemy, and that there is an enemy within that needs military attention?
Well, the part that we didn't play on top of that, what you just said, is he says that we should use our cities as training grounds for the men and women who are in that room. So potentially he's talking about citizens of cities that he doesn't like, he being the President of the United States. 855-616-1620. Interesting text just came in. We'll address that after the break on 620 WTMJ.
Move out and draw fire, because we are the War Department. Godspeed.
Room, attention.
Please clap.
Does your bathroom belong in a haunted house?
Or maybe it's just time for a refresh.
WTMJ and Sidex are back with the Beautiful Bathroom Contest.
One lucky listener will win a tub or shower conversion valued up to $10,000. It's easy. Snap a pic of your scary shower,
terrifying tub,
or even just one you're tired of,
and enter now at WTMJ.com. Sidex makes it easy to go from fright to fabulous.
Protect your boats and recreational vehicles with FPP RV and Marine Antifreeze. It has burst-proof protection down to -50 degrees, keeping you protected against freezing temperatures. Keep your winter worry-free with FPP ready-to-use RV and Marine Antifreeze now at Menards. Visit us in-store or on Menards.com and shop our great selection of automotive products.
Save big money at Menards.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news. online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
This year, it just feels different.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Keep it to WTMJ as the Brewers fight their way to a pennant throughout the run of the playoffs. Brewers playoff coverage is presented by the Neurospine Center of Wisconsin and by Annex Wealth Management, Boucher Automotive, and Delta Dental. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Welcome back to Point Taken on 620 WTMJ. Kristin and Steve. So somebody asked me, and I got a couple of these, like, how dare you criticize the military? I'm not criticizing the military at all. I'm criticizing the leadership that was on that stage. The military I have utmost respect and appreciation for, and always have. Frankly, we don't do enough for veterans. And I know that we live in this political environment now where you say anything bad about the president, you're the enemy. And going back to your question, I guess maybe I'm the enemy because I dare speak something about the president of the United States, who doesn't like disagreements of any kind and will literally fire you if you disagree with him. I'll remind people. I talked about this yesterday. It started with January 6th. Well, it didn't start with that, but that was sort of an example of what happens when you have someone that's unchecked and all-powerful, at least he thought so, trying to do dangerous things with our country and our democracy. So that's sort of the risk on full display January 6th. And I know some of you don't acknowledge that because it's uncomfortable. The back the badge folks who put those signs supposedly proudly on their front lawns, but then forget about January 6th and how police officers, some who I had on my old show, got pounded on by these protesters, insurrectionists. So I'll say this about enemies, and I've said this before on the program. There's a crazy fringe on the left and there's a crazy fringe on the right, and we all know who these people are because they identify themselves in different ways, unique ways. But they're all saying the same thing: the country sucks. We need to cause chaos and mayhem. You're all wrong, and you're all enemies, in my opinion. If you want to find an enemy, those are the ones.
But that's a strong word.
Yeah, I get it. But they're not being helpful to the future of this country.
But that's different than them being your enemy.
Well, I'm not going to try to explain the words of the president. I mean, his stuff speaks on its own. I think we have to be careful now that if I say something or you say something, that we're going to be shamed for saying it. And that's the concern that we have, and we expressed in some of our recent podcasts, that the voices of dissent, when we clearly know something is not factual, dangerous, or inspires hate and violence, especially political violence, if we don't speak up against it, who's going to? And who's going to push back on that? They're making our country more dangerous. And this desire to please with your vote politicians, to sort of put them on a pedestal or worship the gold gods, as we have now happening in the Oval Office in the White House, and it's sort of this celebration of excess, which last time I checked, this president talked about being more efficient in government. And we're not seeing that at all. We saw the collapse of Doge. We see the collapse of government. Senate taking another vote. They rejected another bill to reopen the government hours after they shut it down because they couldn't do their jobs. Texter says the enemy within is a reference to the overall lessening of our military stature with DEI and LGBTQ brought upon by senior leadership. That's one texter's opinion.
So is it abstract? Is that what the assumption is?
I guess. Again, trying to understand the words of the president or Pete Hegseth is an exercise in futility. They don't make sense a lot. The problem is they have very important positions. And I have no faith in Pete Hegseth to make any strong, informed military decision at all. Because he started so poorly, talking on a unprotected chat about things that were happening in our military forces around the world. Texas says, very unfair of you, Steve, to say Trump and Hegseth wanted yesterday's speech to be a performance. I'm not saying they thought that. I'm saying that. This is the texter again. They simply wanted the leaders of our military to know the direction our military would be going. Away from DEI and woke policy of the past. Yeah, they said that in their speeches. Just so glad this is finally our military's priority once again. And from everything I've heard, the recruitment into the military is the highest it's been in a long time. I applaud that. I always applaud the men and women. My father served. My brother served. I have a great respect for the military. I've also heard that the changes that Trump and Hegseth are making are directly the reason why I want strong, fit people to be the ones defending this country, and so do most people. I'm not in disagreement with that. I just don't think the manner in which you did it, that could have been discreetly handled with internal communication.
Yeah.
Instead, you tried to shame them on TV. That's not how leaders do it, real leaders.
Are you saying that meeting could have been an email?
Not an email, but some internal communication that's not dismissed
On
immediately.
Signal? Could it happen
Not on Signal,
over
because
Signal?
clearly that's not protected. And here's the difference with this show, by the way. I'll read texts that disagree with us. Try finding that on another station. Quick break.
I'm Libby Collins. This week on WTMJ Conversations, we talk with State Representative Jesse Rodriguez, whose family moved from a country in turmoil at the height of a revolution.
In those days, it was not uncommon for people to make claims and accuse people of doing things. As a result of that, people disappeared, people died in the middle of the night, and families weren't able to find them.
WTMJ Conversations, Sunday mornings at 11 on WTMJ.
Hey, Steve Scaffidi for Annex Wealth Management. Markets may ebb and flow this year, but your retirement plan deserves a steady hand. Annex blends art and science to design a strategy aimed at helping you work towards your retirement goals, adapting to various economic conditions, from maximizing your Social Security to exploring Roth conversions or building tax-smart portfolios. Annex guides you through critical decisions with your future in focus as a fee-only fiduciary. That matters. Your goals come first. No commissions, no hidden agendas. Their team of CFPs, Certified Financial Planners, CFAs, CPAs, PhDs, and attorneys, I've met them all, amazing people, deliver customized solutions for investment, retirement, estate, and tax planning. All of those things matter. And Annex has the heart of a teacher with a strong webinar series. I've been involved in those. Got another one coming up in late October, covering a number of topics. It's a great tool for clients and soon-to-be clients, which could be you. Your dreams are one of a kind, and Annex respects that with tailored advice. Ready to take charge of your financial future? It's easy to get started. It's how I got started. Visit AnnexWealth.com. Click the now famous Get Started button. Easy as that. Begin the conversation in just minutes. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management, AnnexWealth.com.
What? It's way too early for that.
Abbey Home is celebrating 15 years in business, so we're going back to the first special we ever offered, a free triple pane upgrade on all windows. Triple pane is warmer than double pane and will help reduce condensation, so you're not wiping your brand new windows down from moisture. And they qualify for a tax credit too. Go to abbyhome.com or give us a call, 414-436-ABBY. If somebody asks you if you know a guy in the business, you can say no, but I know a girl.
Ooh, something smells good.
Let's see. Melt 2 sticks of butter and add sugar.
Ben, what are you doing?
I'm cooking Thanksgiving dinner.
What? It's way too early for that.
I know, Arvid, but I just can't wait to serve a big family meal on the Flay table from Penny Mustard.
Oh, I love the Flay table. The design is so sleek and simple, yet oh so perfect.
Mix in 2 cups of peanut butter and strained beets.
The Flay's strong Midwest craftsmanship means you'll be serving family feasts on this table for generations.
Half a cup of mayonnaise.
And it's expandable, so as your family grows, the Flay table grows too.
And just a dash of Tabasco.
Hold on. What recipe are you making?
Recipe? What's a recipe?
The American-made solid wood Flay table paired with 4 Kendall chairs with your choice of fabric or leather starting at $68.71 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Tastier versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Thanks to all of you for texting. We appreciate the text. You don't have to agree with us because that's part of the conversation.
No, it actually is refreshing to know that people who don't agree with us do listen.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be an echo chamber, do you?
No, I like that because it shows that we're sort of tapping into a audience that's from both sides of the aisle, which is something unique in at least in Milwaukee radio. And it actually, I think, makes us smarter and better informed on the issues because we can hear from what the other side's thinking, right? So I align to the right, you align to the left.
Well, and we don't know everything.
I don't
know anything. Maybe you know everything.
No, trust me, I don't. And my wife Kathy will tell you that if you ask her directly. No, it's just this is what we need. And all these people everything. Here's we talked about this on either the last podcast we recorded yesterday or the one before that. Everybody hears things in sort of this weird way they want to hear them now, and they twist everything. And me not supporting the President of the United States, I support the office, and I will applaud the president when I think he's done something right, and I think some of the work he's done on the border has been a positive for the country. Not perfect, but a
You
positive.
liked his peace plan this week.
Absolutely, because it's a starting point.
How do you feel about the Medicaid prescription drugs?
And maybe that's going to help. Pfizer's already talked about a price reduction. So, I mean, all these things are good things. But I will also never be shocked and surprised by the fact that some people are willing to give this president carte blanche to do anything. Here's one that we haven't talked about. Tweet out racist imagery yesterday targeting Democratic leaders using, ethnic stereotypes. Like, that's the president of the United States? That's never appropriate. And if I hear one more person say, I don't like the person, I like the policy, I'm going to throw up. That's
but I think
not
here's
how it
the
works.
thing. I mean, this is the point of, if there's nothing the president could do, this president could do for you not to support him, that's just blind. Like, you're just being a blind sycophant at that point, right? As far as having respect for the office, liking policy. But if you're saying there's nothing he could do for him, that he could do for you to lose support, for you to stop supporting him, it's a dangerous place to be in. Like, there's plenty of Democrats, as someone who leans left, there's plenty of Democrats who there's a lot of things they could do that I'd be like, well, don't support you anymore, which is probably a problem on the left in general. But
I have no problem calling Democrats crazy. I'm not a fan of Chuck Schumer. I think he's nuts.
Do you think he's nuts or feckless?
I think he's all of those things. I think he's just an odd guy who should not be in a leadership position in the Senate. I know he's been here a long time.
Don't you think most of those people are odd, though? Don't you have to be like a certain kind of crazy to make your way up into politics?
Certainly anybody
high?
that's stuck around for longer than they need to stick around. All right, ask us anything after the break. 855-616-1620, easiest way to do it. We already got a couple coming in. Politics is fine. Let's try to, I'd rather have more serious questions, but if you have a fun question, certainly that's welcome as well. 85, who am I to say? Ask us anything. Literally, it's in the name. All right, we have local news. We're coming up with the fantastically talented Connie Weber. Before we get to that, here's now the latest from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In the Senate, another attempt to end the federal government shutdown failing with votes on the same Republican and Democratic measures not getting enough votes. Lawmakers digging in over a battle on health care benefits and premiums.
House Speaker Mike Johnson said Republicans sought to reduce fraud, waste, and abuse in Medicaid, but the Democrats rejected their plan.
The Democrats said instead that they wanted to give health care to illegal aliens.
On ABC's Good Morning America, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said Medicaid coverage for undocumented immigrants is against the law.
That's the law, and Democrats aren't trying to change that.
He described the shutdown as a health care crisis caused by Republicans. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Payroll processor ADP showing the economy lost 32,000 jobs last month instead of adding jobs, what analysts projected. The government's September jobs report due out tomorrow if the shutdown doesn't delay it. And German authorities are investigating a bomb threat today near the Oktoberfest fairgrounds in Munich. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 11:31. I'm Connie Weber. Patients with United Healthcare insurance now out of network at Ascension, Wisconsin hospitals and clinics. Two sides failed to reach a new contract which expired at midnight October 1st. That means patients with United Healthcare commercial, Medicare Advantage, and Medicaid plans could face higher out-of-pocket costs if they continue seeing Ascension providers. Ascension says the reimbursement rates offered by United Healthcare did not keep up with rising costs. Both sides say they remain open to negotiation. Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley proposes a $1.4 billion budget for 2026 as the county expects to generate more than $100 million next year in sales tax revenue. Crowley says efforts placed in the state biennial budget will reduce the amount of taxes county residents will pay for essential county services. A Sussex woman accused of breaking into a home and stealing guns. 19-year-old Keely Sonneman, convicted of killing a dog while babysitting back in 2024. She was released from jail in August after serving 9 months, now back in jail for burglary and possession of a firearm by a felon. She's accused of breaking into the home earlier this month with a 17-year-old partner and stealing money and weapons. Sonneman remains in the Waukesha County Jail on $2,500 cash bail. Time for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 5 points, 46,392. S&P 500 up 5, 6,694. The Nasdaq is up 39 at 22,699. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Take a look at the roads with your WTMJ time saver traffic. I-94 West, about a mile and a half beyond the ramp from Moreland Road. Right lane blocked due to a disabled vehicle. There was a pretty significant backup there. Looks like most of that has been cleared off, but do be mindful of that. It's I-94 West, about a mile and a half beyond Moreland Road. Here's your 5-day for WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy today, high 71 to 78. Partly cloudy tonight, lows 58 lakeside, 55 inland. Mostly sunny Thursday, high 75 to 82 inland. Friday and Saturday, sunshine, highs both days in the lower to upper 80s. Sunday, mostly sunny, a slight chance of an afternoon or evening shower, a thunderstorm, just a shower actually. Thunderstorm's not in the forecast. High 80 lakeside, 84 inland. Right now in Madison, we have 69 degrees, and in Milwaukee, 68, Green Bay, 69. I'm Connie Weber, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:34.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
You know when that big online store has special days with ridiculously low prices?
Yeah?
Why doesn't Hasselus Mattress do that?
We do.
You do? When?
Every day.
Okay, good one. But really, when are the big discounts?
Like I said, every day. You know our showrooms are employee-free.
So I can give your mattresses a try?
With no pushy sales guy.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that allows us to sell Sealy Posturepedic, Beauty Rest, and more for way less.
Give me numbers.
Our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393. Free next-day delivery, too.
And you do this every day?
Yeah. Plus, through Monday, get a free box spring with every Sealy Posturepedic, Beauty Rest, and more, or take an equal amount off an adjustable base.
Wow.
So I guess you could say now is a prime time to buy.
I see what you did there.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hasselus.com.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
Now it's time for Ask Us Anything on Point Taken. Got a burning question? Give us a call or text on the Siding Unlimited talk and text line at 855-616-1620.
All right, get your questions in. We have 25 minutes left in the show to answer
Audience
your questions.
participation.
All right, from the 920, is the magic of Bob Uecker real? Is this team going to win a World Series this year?
Well,
I hope so.
That's the hope, right? Hope and dreams.
God, I hope so. I was living in San Francisco when the Giants won the World Series. And so, of course, I was a little bit of a bandwagon fan that season. And when I remember being in a bar and just everything's the champagne spraying everywhere. And I have been thinking about that moment more often now, of how cool it would be to celebrate the Brewers winning the World Series and actually honestly, because one of the best days of my life still was being able to be at a Game 6 for the Bucks. And so not letting my hopes get up too high, but it does feel like that would be.
Well, I've been part of that. We did the broadcast from, I forgot what street we were on, corner of something downtown.
You were in Water Street. You were with Sherwood, right?
Yeah.
I think I saw you guys. You guys were broadcasting live.
Celebrating
from
the
Water
Bucks
Street
championship.
with the parade.
I've been part of the Packers celebrations a couple times because I was at the Packers post-game party in Dallas, which was amazing and very cool. I'm a Packers fan first, then Brewers, then Bucks. So I will say this. I am hopeful for the Brewers. We've watched this team get to the playoffs year after year and then just, crap their
We're
bed.
skipping the wild card round this year.
Yeah, and I hope that works out. I have this feeling they're going to be playing the Cubs. And I think the season series, the Cubs had one more win than they did. Not that determines what's going to happen in the playoffs. I'm optimistic. I need to see, and this is from the sort of the realist, I need to see them win a series in the playoffs. Because to constantly go to the playoffs is a cool thing, but you got to win a series. And you've had this week off to get healthy, to get right in the head, get your body ready to go. And then this weekend, that sort of effort to go to the World Series first and then win a World Series starts. So I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful. You're
not counting your chickens before they roost?
Absolutely not. Nothing would shock me, but I hope I'm wrong, and I hope they win that series and get to the NLCS and then to the World Series. Because I remember what 82 was like. I was in college. It was off the charts crazy. It was amazing.
Did you watch Just a Bit Outside yet?
No.
The documentary?
No. I'm trying not to relive 82 because it was a very depressing end to that season.
Oh.
I know a lot of people want, especially people who weren't there. It was almost within reach. You could touch the trophy, and then it got yanked.
So are you someone who would prefer to not get to the big game at all?
No. I want to get there, yeah.
So you'd rather get there and lose than not get there at all?
World Series are impressive because that means you're NL champs this time. Last time we were AL champs.
Okay.
And I remember how cool that was. Cecil Cooper and all that stuff, and then the big parade on Wisconsin Avenue just for winning the AL championship. Impromptu parade where everybody went down and got drunk and went crazy. The bars were booming that night. I don't think it's there anymore. Someplace else was the name of it. They had great chili, too, by the way. But we were in that place late at night, and it was just nuts. And I want Milwaukee to have that again because this town would literally go crazy.
It does feel like a movie script a little bit this whole season.
So getting back to the Euchre thing,
also including the characters of Pat Murphy and Miz.
Absolutely.
And just the power of friendship. Like everything is just tied in a nice little bow for some screenwriter to take advantage, especially if we win the World Series.
Yeah, and if they win, I do believe in Euchre magic. But I will tell you right now, as a realist also, that if I hear one fan saying if they lose this series that they're going to be hosting soon, oh, they're not a failure. They're a failure if they don't win this series. Regardless of what they did in the regular season.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I'm anti-Giannis on this.
You're anti-Giannis on
Yeah.
that?
You're a failure. The goal is to win a World Series.
So everyone's a failure except who wins.
Exactly right. That's the sports realist that I am. You can send your text to 855-616-1663.
Disagree.
I know you do.
Disagree.
That's why I sometimes say controversial things just to get your disagreement. All right. What's your question? Ask us anything. 620 WTMJ, point taken.
I did just like you told me. So if you ain't first, you're last.
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, you told me that day at school for career day. You came in and you said, if you ain't first, you're last.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi, and Loyal Family Renovations. They saved the day after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it. But Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, made the entire process smooth as can be. Let's be honest, not everyone knows how to deal with adjusters. They handle all the questions, quick answers, top-notch customer service. In just 2 days, my roof was done. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com.
I've always believed that great service makes all the difference. At Waterstone Bank, it's more than just banking. It's personal. When I needed help choosing an account, my banker took the time to understand my needs and guided me through my options. Thanks to her advice, I can watch my money grow, knowing it's secure.
Welcome to your Waterstone Bank, where community and personal service come together. Member FDIC.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Cheese doodles, Mr. Nougat Bar. Oh, here we go. 4-door hatchback.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but a car is not one of them. The national online company makes it seem convenient, but it won't be so convenient if you have a problem with the vehicle you buy. And if it's after 7 days, good luck. Adam member dealers also let you search online, plus test drive the vehicle before you buy it. And they're right here to handle any issues.
What? The car's stuck. No!
Start your search at adam.com.
Enjoy a free prime rib dinner tonight at the historic Fox and Hounds, recently voted the best supper club in the area. WTMJ's John Mercure here, and with the fall colors, it's a great time to experience the Fox and Hounds near Holy Hill. It's been serving fabulous dinners for almost 90 years in their rustic timber building. Every Wednesday and Saturday, when you buy one prime rib dinner, your second is free. Also, order your favorite steak, seafood, grilled salmon, a big salad, the ribs, even steak and lobster, anything on the menu. Your second dinner is free tonight. Sip on a delicious Manhattan, enjoy an old-fashioned, check out the bourbons, or select from over 100 wines. The Fox and Hound sits in the Kettle Moraine Forest. The setting is beautiful. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the famous Holy Hill Shrine. With the fall colors, the drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest is spectacular. Those fall colors look great in the beer garden they've got, too. A Wisconsin must-see. Enjoy your free prime rib dinner tonight. Tables are available. Visit foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Your family, your memories, our priority. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
Producer Jazz trying to fire us up for some Brewers action. Yeah, it all starts currently this weekend as they host a series in the playoffs in the National League, hoping to get to the World Series.
I like this one.
Go ahead.
We're doing the Ask Us Anything, 855-616-1620. We've got 2 segments left for you to get your question in. Steve, are you available to coach this person's 6-year-old soccer team? Because they're going soft.
Oh, they want the tough guy to come in.
No participation trophy for you.
Win at all costs. I'm not available because I'll be out of the country in Sicily for 2 weeks beginning this Friday night. But if I could, I would certainly be there to motivate those young lads and girls in the way to play soccer, even though I never played a lick of soccer in my entire life. But I'm always up for the challenge. So thanks for that nice thing.
You'd be like the new Ted Lasso.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or would you be more like Roy Kent?
More Ted Lasso. I think
so? You think you're more nice guy Ted Lasso instead of tough guy Roy Kent?
What do you think?
I think you're more Roy Kent.
Oh, really?
Because Roy Kent also...
So not a nice guy is what you're
Roy
saying.
Kent is a very
not a
good
nice guy,
person on the inside, but tough exterior. And I feel like you're more tough exterior, but soft in the middle.
All right, so that was sort of a compliment.
It is a compliment. But I think you're more Roy Kent than Ted Lasso.
You redeemed yourself.
Although you used to rock a pretty good mustache.
I did for many, many years. I'm going to bring it back at some point.
You should. The mustaches are back.
All right, somebody asked...
Trending.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the young kids have mustaches. My 21-year-old cousin, I just saw, is growing one out. I'm sure his mother hates it, but he looks good.
We'll see what Italy does to me when I return. All right, so somebody from the 414 asked, would General Stormin Norman Schwarzkopf be able to pass the physical test needed in today's military? It's actually an interesting point, because if you're going to shame or fat shame the generals, what did you say, 800, 900 generals in that audience, is it realistic to expect a 60-year-old general to perform at the same physical standard as a 35-year-old or 40-year-old general or a high-ranking government military official? I don't think so. There's natural changes that happen. Should they be fit? Absolutely. But you have to have standards that also meet the age of the individual you're testing to meet those standards. And I think that's reasonable. Now, whether that is what Pete Hegseth was arguing, I don't know, because much of it was performative and I thought embarrassing. And, I'm never going to be called a Hegseth supporter because I don't think he's qualified for the job.
Well, so we've had a couple people text in who have referenced their own time in the military.
Sure. Which I respect.
Yeah, who seem to be more supportive of this message. And it's hard to do any kind of polling on this, right, of people who have served and what they're feeling like the current state of our military is. But do you ever feel like you're, like, having not served, that there's a perspective missing for your criticism of what's happening?
Sure. It's one of the things that I regret is not serving. So my father was in the Air Force for many years. My brother Dave went in not even before he was 18, air traffic controller, which he still is to this day. He supervises air traffic controllers all these years later, and he's 60 years old. So I do miss that part of that. But I'm still going to be someone who's going to comment on the actions of the military because that's, let's be honest, that's what we're paid to do. But I respect people immensely who have made that sacrifice. My former producer, Brandon Snide.
Oh, absolutely.
Served in wars and paid a physical price for that. You will not find someone that I respect more than Brandon because he put his life on the line for our country. And I have the unbelievable, utmost respect for the people who do that.
Miss you, Brandon.
I do miss him.
I miss him
because
too.
he's has a different job now. This is an interesting. We'll do this one before the break. And I guess we were talking.
You want to set it up?
Yeah, let's set it up
and then come back and finish the show with it.
And the 608 texter who sent this, define it for us. Do you think the political pendulum will ever get back to center? Will the art of political compromise ever come back? Interesting question as we think about politics in America.
My question is, when was the last time we were center?
Yeah, and I don't...
Which is also a relative, subjective, definite term.
And I'll tell you what I told you, the audience, what I told you in the break is how you define that is sort of how I would answer. All right, quick break. Point taken. Ask us anything on this Hump Day edition right here on 620 WTMJ.
Does your bathroom belong in a haunted house? Or maybe it's just time for a refresh. WTMJ and Sidex are back with the Beautiful Bathroom Contest. One lucky listener will win a tub or shower conversion valued up to $10,000. It's easy. Snap a pic of your scary shower, terrifying tub, or even just one you're tired of. And enter now at WTMJ.com. Sidex makes it easy to go from fright to fabulous.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. Unfortunately, it's not too early to start thinking about those upcoming heating bills. At Hometown's huge New Berlin showroom, you can compare energy-efficient windows from Anderson, Pella, Marvin, and more. Like me, you'll get a dedicated project consultant to guide you to the products that best fit your home, style, and budget, along with employee carpenters who respect your home. Do what I did. Contact Hometown Windows and Doors today. Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. 414-329-1200 or online at hometownwindows.com.
With all the positive Google reviews continuing to pour in for Rich Lawn's Tire and Service Centers, we want you to know we appreciate you.
You were due for service, we delivered, and then you went the extra mile and wrote a few kind words about the service you experienced.
Yeah, thank you so much. Michael, Glenn, Jeff, Lisa, Carol, Jason, John,
Wait,
Michelle,
hang on a
Ryan.
second, Dad. As fun as it may be to name every single person who's ever left us a Google review, there just isn't enough time. We get 60 seconds, and I'd say we've got about 28 left.
Ah, good point, Courtney.
Listen, we appreciate every last one of you for helping us maintain a nearly 5-star Google rating. And we're going to keep on shooting for the stars, especially when it comes to providing top-notch auto repair service.
Yep, and remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. Peter, Bruce, Samantha, Kimberly, Nick, Heather,
Oh,
Marissa,
Dad.
George, Jeremy, Diane, Brad, Paul.
Rich Lawns.
At Og Prep North, we know the only way to build the future is on the foundation of excellence and faith. Og Prep North, built for academic, artistic, and athletic excellence, made for more. Learn more at ogprep.org.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Bird flu has been detected in a commercial poultry flock in Jefferson County. Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection says it's working with the USDA animal health officials.
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
A public health alert was just issued in Dane County due to a spike in drug overdoses.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m. Only on WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
All right, last segment, last question for this Wednesday's Ask Us Anything. Do you think the political pendulum will ever get back to center? Will the art of political compromise ever come back? And I want to know from your perspective, when was the last time, if ever, were we, quote unquote, center?
It's a fantastic question that I don't really know the answer to, because how do you measure that? So is it the ideological answer that we think people are somehow thinking more from a compromise standpoint versus a conflict standpoint? So that's the ideological piece of that. I would argue that if you look at the numbers, the data, that a state like Wisconsin would be a perfect representation of that, right? It's 50-50.
Well, there's also just the bell curve if we're talking about the general public. Most people are more in the center than they are on the fringe. They're just not as loud as the people who are on the fringe. But we've also, because of gerrymandering across the country, have Congress, or at least the House, be represented by more people on the fringe. That's partially because of gerrymandering, it's partially because of partisan primaries. But we have people who are not necessarily representing the middle very well because it takes being more to the left or more to the right than your opponent to sometimes get elected to go to Congress. And so that, I think, is part of how our elections are set up that is not helping us get back to the center if we were ever there.
So I look at this question, and I'm asked this question a lot. Like, how do we get back to the center? Because anecdotally, almost the number one thing people say to me is, how do we get back to that? Don't you get that too?
Yeah,
That's always
but I never get the answer of what is back.
I think
what is the ideal that we're trying to go back to versus work towards?
Let's use the example of the government shutdown. If we're indeed at a point in time, in political time, where we had sort of a back to the center position, these shutdowns wouldn't happen. This is an example of the opposite of what is compromise. This is the conflict. It's performative, which we've talked about a lot in the last week or so, and especially in the wake of that, what I thought was a train wreck of a address to the generals yesterday. And you can disagree on that. People do, including members of the military. I respect that. But what that truly means when we're talking about people thinking differently, there's no clear answer. Because you and I, we spent time talking about the podcast, which we're going to release one this week.
Tomorrow morning.
And the name of the podcast is The Era of Stupidity. And I named it that for a reason, because we are not demonstrating that we're smarter about anything, despite the fact that we have more technology at our fingertips than we've ever had in our life. And yet we are dumber than we've ever been, my opinion. And you could disagree with that, too. Do you think we're smarter than we were 10 years ago, 20 years ago? I don't think so. We don't show it.
I think we have more information. I think
certainly have more information.
Access to information, but information is not always wisdom.
True. Now, there's an argument that some people make, and Texture sort of alludes to this, that the right way to think about politics is that there should be a right answer, whether it's left or right. Maybe the left has the right answer, maybe the right. There should be a right answer.
I don't think that's true.
I'm just telling you what the texter said. So is that true? You don't think that's true?
I don't think there's a right, because right is going to be always going to be subjective to.
Let's take the budget, for example. Would the right answer be to not have this and to have a balanced budget that still meets the needs of all citizens? That would be the right answer.
Yeah, but the fight is over what does it mean to meet the needs.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I'm saying. It's way too simplistic of a
sure, but I mean
thought experiment to be like, oh, like yes, the right way should be the right. Okay, but that's the whole point of negotiation and compromise and debate.
Absolutely. Another texture says that it will never swing to the middle because of social media and news media. We talked about that extensively in the podcast, which is if you want to see the latest, it'll be coming out today or tomorrow. Just text LISTEN, LISTEN, to 855-616-1620. We have a lot of guests in our studio today. We're not going to introduce them because there's at least 24 of them, but we're going to meet with some journalists from Africa and probably beyond as part of a series that we've done over the years here at WTMJ, and they're traveling the country. We're going to learn from them, and they're going to teach us something about communications and journalism from a different perspective, which I'm going to welcome.
And we're going to talk about it tomorrow. We'll give our takeaways tomorrow of our pending lunch.
My last show before I get on a plane and travel to Sicily, Palermo first, and then to Malta shortly after that. So my final show of early October, let's put it that way. I'll be back on the 20th, I think. So thanks to all of you who tuned in. Thanks for the great questions. We couldn't get to all of them, but I always appreciate each and every one of you who join us 10 to noon here on 620 WTMJ. She's Kristin, I'm Steve. Point taken. Hopefully you got the point. News is next on 620 WTMJ.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Get your aches and pains under control and bring back your energy. Whether it's headaches, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, time and repetition is key to staying on the right track. I've been seeing Dr. Alex and his team for 2 years now. No twisting, no cracking, no popping. Connect Chiropractic uses a special tool that is targeted and effective, yet pain-free and gentle. In Delafield and Wauwatosa, and the new location on Rawson Avenue in Oak Creek. Get started at GoConnectChiro.com.
Glass shower doors are beautiful, but the way they used to make them doesn't allow for them to stay looking beautiful for